Jamaican Vacation, y'all. Next one is Ray Justice.
Ray Justice.
Urban action thriller.
Can I be in it?
Sure, if you fit the part, why not?
Okay.
You want to play a dirty cop?
I've been dirty all my life.
Shit, you've been dirty all your life. You sound well, not all my life. I've been dirty part of my life. Like I said, we all got past.
The easiest way to get things done is to get things done. Courtney.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right by the LCBO. White.
Oh, okay, I see you.
Ah! Hey, Courtney.
Ah,
What a mess. What a mess.
what's going on, man?
So you're on something called the Uber Experiment.
Uber Experiment, that shit's cool.
Yeah, man.
That shit's cool.
So,
what is it all about, man?
We're talking about business, ideas, and passion. Driving around Toronto, picking up strangers, and hearing their story.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get on the road. So what do you do for a living?
I'm a filmmaker,
Oh, very nice.
actor, music producer, everything to do with entertainment.
Do you have a business card?
I don't do business cards.
No,
I'm
you
not-
are
I'm
the
not a-
business
I'm not
card.
a
You
business-
are-
I
you
am the
are-
business card.
You are the walking bread.
I tell people all the time, I'm not a businessman. I'm an artist,
There
right?
you go.
Oh, the Uber car.
Yeah, right.
This is what's happening right now.
This is happening right now.
This is what's happening right now. This is what Courtney Brown is up to right now. I'm in the Uber cab with my man Marcin. You know what I'm saying? My driver here that takes me here and takes me there and takes me everywhere.
So are you going for a meeting?
Actually, I got to meet a friend that I haven't seen in a while.
Tell me about your business. What's
Well-
the name of it?
I got a company called UXC Films. I'm currently working on a couple of projects. I got a film called Jamaican Vacation. Y'all might have heard of it.
Is it Canadian production or are you?
Well,
working with-
partially Canadian. I'm a Canadian resident. My partner is Canadian. It's a film that takes place in Los Angeles and in Jamaica. We're gonna shoot up here, portraying LA, of course,
Mhm.
and then the rest of the film will be shot in Jamaica.
Does that require a lot of permits to shoot a movie like that?
Well,
It's an
you know,
independent. Is it an independent or?
Yeah,
are
it's
you,
an independent. Independent. I do everything independent.
So are you backed by any government subsidies or anything like that? Or
Well, no, you get your normal tax credits and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I learned a lot about all that the tax breaks and all that. From
Yeah.
My production manager, Mr. James Mao. James,
Shout out.
you
to
the
James.
man. Shout out to James. He's the man, for real. James worked with Jackie Chan on, I think it's called The Protector.
Okay.
It's fabulous dude. I learned a lot. I like people that I can learn from, because
Oh, definitely.
this film thing, I'm kind of new to it. I mean, at the end of the day,
So-
I'm coming from music.
So tell me about that then. Let's roll back. Let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, bro.
Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica. Trenchtown. You hear Bob Marley sing about Trenchtown? Trenchtown rock, don't watch that. Trenchtown rock, if you are big fish or sprat. Trenchtown rock, you reap what you sow. Trenchtown rock, and everybody know now. That's where I come from.
I don't know if that's a copyright infringement or not.
Bob's dead, man. I don't think Universal owns that one.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let them come after me for it. I'm a Trenchtown resident. When Bob talked about Georgie and Georgie would make the firelight, it's funny. I knew who he was talking about. And the funny thing is, it wasn't until I got older and Bob got so big, and I was like, wow, And he's partially responsible for me doing what I'm doing, because I figured that, hey, if he came from the same place I can, he made it that big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then I can too, right?
Definitely.
And, a lot of other people, not just me. I mean, everything starts with an idea.
Did you live in an impoverished neighborhood?
Of course I did.
I've never been to Jamaica, so is
Not all Jamaica is impoverished. I mean, don't get it twisted now. Jamaica's got mad money up in there. You got people that live in Jacks Hill, Cherry Gardens that look like Hollywood.
What's a major export out of Jamaica?
Coffee.
Coffee.
And rum.
No, but for real though, what is
Coffee.
it?
No,
Is it
coffee. Coffee and
Okay.
rum. We don't want to talk about ganja. They got designer weed. It's crazy.
So
They have names for it now.
So when you were growing up, what did you strive to be as a kid? What did you want to be?
I always wanted to be in the music business. I always wanted to do music.
Were you a singer? Did you dabble in that when you were younger?
Well, I can sing, but I never really wanted to be a singer. I just wanted to be in the business.
Were your parents more supportive of that? I mean,
back then, when you're young and you're black, nobody tell you to go be no. That's just something that you want to do. People always tell you to go learn a trade. That's what I've always heard my uncles, they talk about trade. Nobody ever talk about they want to be no filmmaker.
Oh, same with my parents. Yeah.
That wasn't available to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of certain situations that they were placed in, and certain things that they were taught about themselves. That's all that was available to them. So I guess that's what everybody used to tell me. Well, get a trade, go do this, work hard. I don't believe in working hard, man. I believe in working smart.
That's right.
Millions of people worked hard for 400 years. My ancestors, they didn't even get a damn thank you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see where nobody talking about working hard is glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I prefer to work smart.
So being a smart worker makes you an entrepreneur, yes?
Well, yeah. I'm doing my own thing. It gets hard sometimes.
It's a lot more interesting than
if it wasn't interesting, I wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a grind. It's very hard.
What's the best part of doing music production and filmmaking?
It's always the final product. You get into it, people obviously you want to make money, but I never look at the money. What I really concentrate on doing is making a good film. I want the movie going public to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care.
Where is it going to be released? What's your distribution model?
Well, we want to distribute it worldwide. At the end of the day, we want to do it here, America, England.
What's the genre of it?
It's a comedy.
Okay.
Well, dramedy. It's we would call it a dramedy.
Okay.
Cross between drama and comedy. So, a dramedy. And we feel that with the amount of people from Jamaica, the diaspora, and people in Jamaica, people that like Jamaica, people that like the music. Jamaica as a brand, reggae music, track and field, you name it, even ganja, Rastafari. Everything that comes out of there, they have fans. So you find that this movie, just by the name alone, is going to be successful. And if you know Jamaican people, you know that they're sort of clannish in their thing. I see it now. Sunday, they're eating their chicken and their rice and peas. And they hear this commercial about a movie called Jamaican Vacation, starring some of the island's favorite people, and people are going to love it. And that's why I'm creating it. I want people to enjoy it. I couldn't give a damn if I get nominated for nothing.
Right.
That's just me. I don't care.
It's just to have that one thing under your belt.
Yeah, I don't care if I get some little statue or nothing like that, man. That's not what this is all about. This is all about, making people happy and people going to the movie and coming out with a smile on their face and want to go buy the DVD and, they recommend the movie.
How do you feel about marketing it online?
Well, yeah, most definitely. You have to market stuff online today. It's not like before,
As a business owner, what has been your best marketing strategy?
Well, it's a little different. Back then, it was harder, to tell you the truth, because you had no internet or anything.
How did you do it back then? I mean, I imagine it was on a small budget, right? So that's guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla marketing is the number one thing that we did. At the end of the day, you hire street teams and you do your thing. You do what you can do. You see, a lot of guys back in the days, they used to make mistakes with music production and call them production rich and promotion poor. They blow all their money in the studio making a good album and they don't have no money to promote it. Today it's a little different. These kids now, they can make that song in their bedroom or in their basement. This little teeny stuff that they make, and it's not really music. I'm not hating on that. And then they can make records that's not as costly as it used to be. Then so then they have money that they can promote. I take my hat off to the hip hop cats, the real cats, the cats that are making the real money. 50, Jay-Z, guys like that had their, they came from nothing and guerrilla marketed their product and they did good business to get what they are.
How do you feel about any sort of musicians or especially hip-hop artists who glamorize their street cred as part of their promotion and marketing strategy?
Hey man, it's better they use their street cred as part of their marketing than go back to living that street life and killing people and doing crazy things. See, I have not, art is art, and they always talk about, this and that about the kids, this and that about it. I had kids. My kids listen to everything. But you see,
Did you discipline them?
I have a strong relationship with my kids, and you know, when you start understanding your kids and they understand you, then you know I don't have no problems. I have 3 sons. They don't have no criminal record. They ain't into that, and they listen to the most gangster music. They rap. One of my sons is a prolific writer and rapper. He doesn't even want to do it. He does it as a hobby. Because every time I say to him, yo, you know, we can go in the studio and do a record. I can put a record out. That's what I do, you know. And he's not interested. And my daughter sings. My middle son writes and raps, and the older one is
Everybody's artistic.
Recording engineer and writes. You know, so everybody writes. All of my children write, even my 13-year-old.
Do you work together?
Nah. I'm an old man. They don't want to work with me. You know, my daughter is more interested in working with me. She's 13 years old. As a matter of fact, she just turned 13 yesterday. Happy B-Day, Lele. You know, yesterday was your day. You became 13 on the 13th. All right. Yeah,
Wow.
that's my
birthday.
baby. That's my baby. She's amazing. Sings like an angel. Writes and draws like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I couldn't draw a straight line if they paid me to.
Going back when you were first starting off in any of your entrepreneurial activities, what's the most difficult thing that you had to endure to become successful and get credibility?
Oh man, everything is difficult, bro. You know, I've always found difficulty in raising money for projects.
Yeah.
That, you know, getting investors for projects.
Tell me about it.
And that's why I feel lucky with Jamaican Vacation, and it's such a good script that, you know, I have people now interested. And also my other movie, Ray Justice, working with a cat down in West Palm Beach, Jonathan Phoenix. Hey Jonathan, if you catch this, big shout out to you, Johnny P.
Just plugging away everybody.
Yeah, I got to plug the people.
You got a credit list?
I'm plugging the people that I'm working with, you know, because
yeah, and you
without them, I mean, a lot of my stuff wouldn't come to light. For example, AMG here in Toronto down in Spadina. Big up to Mark Berry, Dwayne Farley. You know what I'm saying? You guys making this happen. I'm loving it. You know, you can't do things by yourself. You always need people.
How do you feel about people who have amazing ideas but they hold them in fear of other people stealing them?
Well, you know, that's just ridiculous. At the end of the day, if you do things right, sometimes, you know, I want somebody to steal one of my movies and develop. I sue his ass and get all my money. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody to take your stuff and blow it up. You know?
How do you motivate yourself?
Kids. One of my main motivations to do what I'm doing. My kids are grown. My little baby is 13, and I've adopted. I got, you know, an adopted daughter, Joy. She's 3 years old. I don't want my children to do or go through what I went through. I grew up on the streets, man. I left when I was 15 years old, and I've been through shit.
So on the streets in Jamaica or here? When did you come to Canada?
In a long time, man. You know, after I left America, I went to...
you went to America first?
Yeah, and came here. And
is it because you're with your parents?
Well, you know, your family, migrate, and you go one place, they migrate again, and right. That's how it is as a kid, you know. But
do you want to share? You want to share some stories, hardships, just to show, to prove to people that you came from this and now you're here.
Man, I've slept in roofs of apartment buildings, man, stairwalls. You know, I've had days where, you know, you don't know where you're gonna eat, what you're gonna eat, stuff like that. But stuff like that makes you stronger. What don't kill you make you stronger. So yeah, I'm not saying it in a complaining kind of way. I'm just saying that, you know, it's not about where you come from, it's where you're going. We're all brilliant. I feel that the human mind is brilliant. Our brain is brilliant. And if you have an idea alone is not going to do nothing. An idea coupled with kinetic energy, then, you know, you can see result. It's like the divine mathematics, for example.
I don't know much about it.
You don't know about it. Well, you know, the Europeans call it Fibonacci.
Okay, I don't know.
You know about
shit.
Fibonacci.
Yep.
Fibonacci numbers mimic nature, because if you look at the way a tree grows, it grows the way the Fibonacci is. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on and so forth. Our lives and business, you know, runs like that, because if you look at the ram's horn, which they usually use as the sign of Fibonacci, right? And you look at the way it develops. Businesses develop like that. And Leonardo of Pisa, that took Fibonacci, the Fibonacci, his name is Leonardo. When he went to Africa, to the east to find this mathematics and brought it back to Europe. If he didn't do that, Europe would still be in the Dark Ages because they didn't have those numbers in there. They had Roman numerals. Now, could you imagine trying to calculate interest on Roman numerals?
Yeah. No.
So it wasn't until Leonardo of Pisa went back to Europe and he created this book, Liber Abaci.
Liber Abaci.
I think that's the name of the book.
Okay.
Mathematics book. And that's what took Europe out of the Dark Ages.
How do you know all this stuff? Did you go to university?
What university, man?
University
I got a
of
grade 7
Street?
education. I went to University of Hard Knocks. I got a grade 7 education.
Do you read a lot then to get this information?
Yeah, I read a lot.
You don't strike me like a person who goes on Google and researches.
Well, no, I've been reading, and before Google was around, man. I mean, you know what it is. As a kid, you come from the Caribbean, and there's different types of stuff. There's class prejudice in the Caribbean. You come to these countries and people don't like you. You didn't do somebody, nobody nothing. And they just don't like you because of the color of your skin. I was a kid.
Right.
I wanted to know why. So, I started looking into a lot of things, and the more I found out about myself, which is, Africa,
right,
and Africans, it was the more I alleviated a lot of anger, a lot of hate.
Did you have a lot of anger and hate when you were on the street, or did you blame yourself? Or did you blame society?
Man, you blame everything. Sometimes you blame yourself, sometimes you blame society. And
what event did it take to sort of bounce you back up or get out of it? What was your
education, man. You alleviate ignorance with education. I'm a firm believer of that. Once you start understanding yourself and understanding the world, understanding how the mind works, and understanding that you can accomplish anything that you want. What they teach us in school and what we can learn on our own is two different things. I'm not a big fan of school because, you see, school, I think they dumb you down.
They hold you back.
Yeah,
that's
some of the
definitely
stuff that they teach you. But, if you were to really go out there on your own, and find stuff, man. I'm a firm believer in well, I don't even believe in that. Let's tell you the truth. To me, belief is ignorance, knowledge is knowing, right? I can tell you that the sky is red down there at Jarvis and Lure. You're ignorant enough to believe it. But if you know that it ain't, then you know it ain't, right?
Yeah. Well, there are followers and there are trendsetters. You seem to be more of a trendsetter.
I'm not following nothing on nobody.
Yeah.
I join no organization. I follow none. You understand what I'm saying? I follow my own gut.
What would you say is your biggest failure as an entrepreneur?
I don't look at nothing as a failure. I look at it all as a learning experience.
Well, the failures are a learning experience, and that's what leads you to success.
That's why I look at it. I look at it as a learning experience.
What is the biggest mistake maybe that you made that you learned from? That made you trust in certain people?
Yes. Trusting certain.
Have you ever been screwed over by a partner?
Of course I have.
And yeah, me too. How do you deal with that?
Well, you just
because it's continuous. It's not like you just
yeah, exactly. You continue, and you know that. Hey, I'm gonna stay away from people like that.
Yeah.
And in relationships.
You become jaded, or are you still?
Well, you try not to become jaded, but you're a human being, right? And you got emotion. It's just like in relationships, you get hurt.
Oh man. Yeah.
You get kind of weirded out, right?
Yeah. Then you get them to sign a piece of paper before they move in.
Man. I tell you, I've been through some stuff with women, bro.
Oh yeah.
But I still love them. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't generalize,
Yeah, people are people, right?
Yeah.
They just react differently to because of emotions.
Yeah, I'm not perfect, so I can't expect perfection from people. You just gotta accept people the way they are. If the way they are don't suit you, then just keep it moving. Keep moving.
So we talked about partnerships. How would you suggest a person who has an idea for a business or whatever? How would they go about developing key partnerships?
Oh man, that's like I said, you have to find somebody you can trust for number one. And
can you suggest where to go, where to start looking for?
I think it's a destiny thing, man. You run into it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have an idea, you have to really research and develop your idea, and you get a business plan. If you need a partner, like I said, then you have to. That's when you have to invest the time to really find out, if this person is suitable.
I
You guys might not get along.
I find that for me, it's better if you partner with somebody who has a completely different skill set than you do.
Most definitely.
Because then you won't clash with ideas.
Most definitely.
Right? And it has to be completely different than what you have, because then you won't step on each other's toes and the person will trust your judgment in that skill set and vice versa.
Yeah. And not just with partnership, even when you're hiring people. Like, you know, I find that I'm good at organizing and putting a team together, you know, because I know my strength and I know my weaknesses. So I always have to get people that complement my weaknesses, right? Like, if I can't do certain things, then I'm going to hire that person, you know, to do it.
Going back to your music and your film, so now that you're going to be a big baller in this
I don't know about being a big baller. That's not what it's all about. That word ball, I don't even like that word.
Okay, I'll take that back.
No, I don't. I'm an OG, man. That was some new stuff for these kids, man. All these, you know, this baller stuff. You know, a lot of this stuff is stupid, to tell you the truth.
What do you mean? What are you referring to?
All of these kids, man, out there talking about they hustlers and all of this, man. They're not, man. A lot of them are fools, you know?
Some of that is perception, branding. And I believe that, you know, you could create a brand and then have investors come and jump on it.
Well, yeah.
Especially with social media these days, right?
Yeah.
Uber experiment, for example, right? When I first started, and this was a pure accident. I never meant to do it. You know, I was just writing an article and I went undercover as an Uber driver. And then in the first day that I was driving, I just kept picking up interesting people and I was like, yo, there's something here. Like, this information should be out there for people to listen to.
Well, yeah.
Exploded from that. And then I went and I recorded a couple episodes. I put them all together myself, packaged them up nicely, and then I started looking for investors. But the brand was already built, right? And so people already believed that this was actually something that when it really wasn't. So that's how this happened.
It was a simple idea.
It wasn't even an idea. It was an accident.
You know, see, there you go.
But these kids that you're referring to are hustling. I think perhaps if they're strategically doing this, then they could be building a brand or something so people would jump on it and believe in it.
Ain't nobody building no brand here. Man, it's all bravado and arrogance and false pride. You know, none of them.
So when Layla, is it, your youngest, when she grows up, because it's a completely different world these days, right? What would you like her to do in life?
I just want her to be happy. I want her to choose something as a career that she's going to not just make money, but it's going to fulfill her. You know, and I find that we oftentimes get these jobs and we do these things. And yeah, you know, you might be making 50, 60, 70, 80 grand a year. But you're unhappy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not success, bro. Because your happiness is worth more than any amount of money, right? That you're making.
What's the worst jobs you ever had?
The worst job I ever had, I don't even want to call the company's name, but I'm going to call the worst manager ever I had was this fool named Dan, right?
Yeah, I think we call it a shitty manager.
Yeah, I hate to go to a place and there's a manager I know more than a sales manager that, you know, they have titles and their titles came from privilege. It's not that they earn it. I hate privilege.
Oh man, me too.
If you don't earn shit, you shouldn't have shit.
You know those people who drive nice cars and have jobs but their parents gave them?
I'm not hating with people like that because I want my grandchildren to be like that. That's why I'm doing movies. I want to make $300 million and have trust funds.
So all this shit, all this stuff you're spewing just so BS now.
Well, no, it's not. I'm saying is, I would like my descendants to have a privileged life.
But honestly, though, I don't know about you, but I actually like the hardship. I like the challenges and the growth and the learning.
Man, I'm
serious.
I went through enough hardship on my goddamn own for like 9 million generations, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, not your
I don't know if I can say that F word.
Of course we can.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, if I could make the sacrifices now to make money so that my grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren will be all right. You know, that's what I want to do. Now, I don't mean like they're not going to be doing nothing. They're just going to have a trust fund and they'll be spoiled little friggin' brats riding around in some fancy cars. They ain't doing nothing. No. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
For example, I make $100 million. I don't have handouts for my sons.
You have $100 million?
I said if I make $100 million. You never know. You look at independent movies like Life of Pi, Slumdog Millionaire. You gotta get My Big Fat Greek Wedding. You never know. It's like a coin. You know, you either can make nothing or you can, you know. So let's say that happens. my children are set. Their kids are set.
Yeah.
But not in a way where they're just gonna have all this money and nothing to do. They have to come to me with ideas. If my son comes to me and goes, I want to do this business, then you don't have to go find investors because we have that money already.
That is a great plan.
If my son comes to me and he says, Dad, I want to do an album now, we don't have to. We can do it ourselves. We can independently produce it, market it, and put it out ourselves.
It opens up opportunities.
Yeah.
And possibilities, right?
I'm not looking to make my grandchildren some spoiled little brats that are just privileged. And no, none of that. They're gonna have to work in this big studio.
Yeah, I actually picked up a YTV host. So shout out Suki. And I actually dropped him off here.
Oh damn, this dude is real smart. I'm doing stuff. You just come out like that.
Well, if you have a car like that, that's a $160,000 Benz.
I know. I like that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
It's not a very, people say, why you want that so ugly?
I think it's ugly too.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it.
Just get a Hummer, man.
No, man, I don't like the Hummer. I like this. It's honest human. It's ugly. That's exactly what it is.
And so we're talking about cars. Okay, so we're gonna have like a little question and answer period. I'm gonna give you two choices. Just pick one. Well, Donald Trump or Richard Branson?
Richard Branson.
Procrastinator or a doer?
Doer.
Start the day or sleep in?
Start the day.
Money or fame?
Money.
Okay, Prius or a Ferrari?
I don't like no Prius, but I wouldn't want a Ferrari either. What am I doing with a Ferrari? I'm gonna lose my license driving. Where's you
These are just questions. That's all. Enable a person or teach a person?
Teach a person.
Follow passion or a paycheck?
I'm more leaning to passion.
Favorite hashtag? So something.
I don't have none, man.
Just a word that symbolizes your essence.
Hashtag life, man. Live life to the fullest.
Organized or scattered?
Organized.
Okay, 3 characteristics that define an entrepreneur.
Focus is number 1. Well researched. You gotta know what you're getting into. And action.
Splurge or save?
In between.
If you had $100 million, what's the first thing you would buy? No, just for yourself.
No.
Like
for myself?
Just for yourself, yeah. Look at that. That's a good person. When he has to take a minute to think about what he would buy for himself.
I'm not. When I was younger, I used to love cars.
Yeah.
It's for transport. It's nothing that I'm gonna be pulling up in front of nowhere. I'll be balling. I'm not into that. I'm not braggadocious like that. I'm the type of dude that I get things for what it is. I use things and love people. I don't use people and love things. You understand what I'm saying? I think the first thing I would do is probably buy a home. I like a nice home. That's the thing with me. I like a nice home. Doesn't have to be a mansion, but it has to be furnished very nice. It has to be have all the comforts at home, because I'm like.
Would you move or would you stay in Toronto? Like, would you go to LA or Miami or any
Hell no, I'm not. If I move,
Jamaica?
I'm going to Africa. I want a couple of places in Africa. One in Pram in Ghana, and Owasso, Ethiopia. Maybe South Africa. I love Africa. I've been there and I fell in love. I didn't want to come back. When I left, I cried. I went to the Indian Ocean in KwaZulu Natal, and man,
beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. It's mad beautiful. I love Africa. I love Africa. I love African people. Shout out to all the African people in Toronto. Y'all see me out there? Holla.
All right, the top 3 ways of becoming an entrepreneur, in your opinion.
The top 3 ways, in my opinion, is entertainment. That's what I know. That's what I love. That's what I do.
So YouTubing.
YouTubing.
That's like the easiest way to get in.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. I mean, today, you before you make a record, man, and you got to get airplay. Today, you just need to go viral.
Which is almost in a sense better, because
it is.
Because the truest forms of art are coming out of people who are themselves are releasing their own content, and it's not scripted. Whereas before, it has to be scripted. People are trying to mold you into something that people will like. And now, if society accepts you, you strike gold.
Well, that's true. These days,
you want to be dropped off young and king, so just over there somewhere. Right?
People are not as sophisticated as they used to be.
What do you mean? In what way?
I'm talking entertainment, right? A cat jumping up and grabbing at something will go damn viral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, if you show us that, we look like, huh? What's that? You know? But today, cat, man, I seen this ugly cat the other day. Yeah, he's a star. This big-eyed little cat. You know what I'm saying? Look like he's something wrong with his leg, but people love this cat. They tune in, and he's got over 1 million followers. You know? To me, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I say people are not as sophisticated. Their taste is not as sophisticated.
It's more childish and immature.
Yeah. That's why Adam Sandler writes them childish stuff. Him and Seth Rogen, a lot of the stuff that they do is kind of some kindergarten mentality stuff because they know.
Well,
they know who their market is. They like that stuff.
If we're gonna go back and talk about how people live, they go into their job, their 9 to 5, whether they're making 30,000 or 80,000, like you said, they're not really liking. I'm glad to say that many of my colleagues and friends are entrepreneurs. You surround yourself around the people that you want to be like, and then you don't get angry. But
water seeks its own level. You know what I'm saying? You got to be around that. It's like, me being in the film industry, but I hang around a bunch of welders.
Well, maybe you make a welding movie, right?
And, unless I'm researching, yeah.
But no, I was saying is that those people don't like going to work, and they want to get away.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to get away. They like watching these cat videos and their bird videos and their baby videos because that just puts a smile on their face because they know that on Monday they're gonna have to go and endure. So we're almost there. We're gonna be finishing up. So is there any final words of wisdom that you want to share with our audience or kids in school who? Well, kids in school, kids in general. Education is not knowing a bunch of facts, but is knowing how to think logical. Understand? So use your mind, children. Don't let other people use your mind for you and tell you this and tell you that and tell you that. Find out for yourself. Check it out. Somebody tell you something, check it out. Right? Einstein was the one that said that. He said that education is not about knowing a bunch of facts, but it's about knowing how to think. Understand? He also said being antisocial is a form of brilliance because it shows that you're not one of the sheeps. Einstein was the dude, wasn't he? Yeah. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? Where's King? Is King one up there? You can take me to Queen. Take me to Queen. Queen is that way, right? I want to go down in that food court, grab another coffee. I got some time before my next appointment. But nah, for kids, man, I love kids and I want only the best for kids. The same thing I want for my children is what I want for every other kid. You know what I'm saying? My father wasn't there. I made sure I was there for my children. And that's what I want to say. All y'all young brothers out there, man, stop getting these women pregnant and leaving them alone because you make their lives harder. You make the children harder. And that's your seed. You got to be more responsible. Love yourself, love your children, love your woman. I mean, if you can't get along with the woman, lead a woman. Don't lead a child, man. Them babies need y'all, man. That's all I got to say. Peace. I'm almost out of the cab. The Uber, I can't call your car no cab. That's a bad car you got here, man. This BMW, boy. We're supposed to get endorsement from the BMW dealership. A brand new kick-ass M4, but it didn't happen. Hey, maybe it will. Maybe sponsorship is. I know. Sometimes. Especially in Canada, it's very hard. Oh my God, it's so conservative in Canada. Man, you ain't telling me nothing. I've been trying to get sponsorship for a show that I'm doing, and it's crazy. The Downtown Courtney Brown show. Yeah. Hey Toronto, I'm your man Downtown Courtney Brown.
And I'm your girl downtown, Tara G.
And I'm your co-host, resident musician, Vance McKenzie.
And we're from the Downtown Courtney Brown Show.
Call it Downtown Courtney.
Nah, we got to put the Brown in there. Downtown Courtney Brown, because he's got that rhyme.
You heard it first on the Uber Experiment.
Yo, I'm at Queen and Young.
That's how business is done.
All right, man. Well, I'm down here. I'm gonna deal with this, and then I'm going to the studio.
What do you think is gonna happen in the next 2-3 years from now in terms of your filmmaking?
2-3 years, I'll have 2 films out. Like I said, I'm working on both of them right now. Jamaican Vacation, y'all. Next one is Ray Justice.
Ray Justice? Is that an action movie?
Yeah, it's a action thriller movie.
Ray Justice.
Urban action thriller. Yeah.
Can I be in it?
Sure, if you fit the part, why not, man? You want to play a dirty cop?
I've been dirty all my life.
Shit, you've been dirty all your life. You sound well, not all my life. I've been dirty part of my life. Like I said, we all got past, man.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you gotta
it's
cut.
not about your past.
You know what?
It's about what
You
you're
have
doing.
to cut corners. Otherwise, you're gonna get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, that's right. Pull over here.
All right, Courtney. Pleasure meeting you.
My man.
We'll chat
Marcin,
again.
take care. Uber experiment. I'm out.
Take this with you. You guys want to see what downtown Toronto looks like? So that's the Yonge and Dundas Square, downtown Toronto. What a nice guy. Anyway, so another awesome episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Recommended. That is pretty damn good. The Uber people are assuming that. Oh, come on. I'm right there, man. I can catch my breath for a second there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I love it.